Get into NHL playoffs betting with Sports Interaction, as Jesse did during Game 7.
Oh, you mean like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Leafs,
like you did it live during the game. We were watching.
I don't celebrate that victory. They lost the game, but it was great that I could do that from my seat.
Before the game starts, live and player, how your favorite player will perform, doing it right since 1997. Sports Interaction is Canada's sports book with the most competitive odds. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. And join now to see all the sports betting has to offer. It's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That is sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. I do want to talk about Bruce Cassidy getting fired in Boston here because we got a couple big guests coming up. So Bruce Cassidy fired. And what was interesting about this is that like this guy 2 years ago, like pre-pandemic, took them to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. He walked Mike Babcock's teams off the ice 2 seasons in a row that we saw as Leaf fans. You have to understand that's the thing we relate to the most. But like when the Bruins beat the Leafs in those series, they didn't just beat them. Most of the time, it felt like they were hammering them.
Dude, I feel like as Leaf fans, we get a special opinion on Bruce Cassidy getting fired because, like, as a person, I feel bad that this person who is a good NHL coach and grew up cheering for the Boston Bruins was fired as the head coach of the Boston Bruins. That's how I feel as a person. As a Leafs fan, where's the nearest LCBO? Let's pop bottles. Like,
it's good for us.
The team that has caused the Leafs so many nightmares over the Leafs just fired one of the best coaches in the league for no good reason. Hooray.
Well,
literally hooray.
Unless the reason is they thought Barry Trotz was the guy.
Bruce Cassidy's in that tier, is he not?
I thought he would have earned that. Maybe is there a disagreement between Don Sweeney and Cam Neely? I almost called him Don Neely.
Based on what Don Sweeney said, I 100% understand the firing because it sounds like Sweeney lost the room. Says
you mean Cassidy lost the room?
Cassidy lost the room. Sweeney said during his press conference, he said, I felt both the message and how it was being delivered, and more importantly, maybe how it was being received. Young and old, players felt they were very well prepared, but young and old, at times, they struggled. Sometimes that's the voice in their head. Cassidy lost the room with the guys.
Did he did they not replace the core? Did they not adequately replace the core that they had in 2011 that they rode for 10 years? Is it that he lost the room, or did they... Zdeno Chara is gone. Tuukka Rask is gone. David Krejci is gone. They've had some good pickups. Charlie Coyle and Taylor Hall and that sort of. But you watched a lot of players walk out the door. So Jesse, I'm not taking issue with what you said, but I'm questioning. And Jake DeBrusk requesting a trade, and then they sort of brought him back into the fold. And the fact that you had 11, 12, and 13 in a draft, and only one of those players is currently playing for you. Like, I wonder, is this? I mean, is it the team? Did he lose the room, or is the team just not as good?
No, I look at the roster and I say that's a roster full of great guys who could make the playoffs, and that he didn't get them up to where they should be.
Second line center Eric Holla. That's a tough one, man.
Look at the wingers around them; they're elite.
Great wingers. Second line center Eric Holla. It's not a championship.
It's not. And the other thing I would say is that doesn't mean that they're not a second round or a third round team.
Nope.
And I'm so glad that Boston has high standards. That's amazing. But what I do want to ask is this, and I didn't watch enough Boston games to know. Sometimes you get a coach, and we saw this with Dwayne Casey with the Raptors, where they have a system, it works really well, and then somebody figures out their system, especially in a 7-game series, and they don't adjust the system. I have heard Bruins fans complain about that a little bit. And I'm wondering if that had something to do with it. Maybe they didn't see this team as a Stanley Cup winning team, but maybe they did think, well, we certainly didn't perform to our level.
Well, and that's the mission, though, is winning the cup. And we look at them and go, why would you do that? It's a really good team. It's an extremely good team. And the Bruins are looking at it like, yeah, but it's not going to win a cup. So we're going to change it up. We're going to get a different coach. I would imagine they're going to get a coach who's... Ideally, you would get a coach known for developing players, and I think they might rebuild here a little bit, or at very least tinker.
Retool?
Yeah, it could be a retool. Like, watching them fully tear it down would be unexpected, but you're heading into an off season where there's rumors of Pasternak getting traded. I don't think I believe that. because if you're looking to get better in the future, I don't see how you get better trading David Pastrnak. Marchand's going to miss the first little bit with injury. Bergeron might not be back at all. McAvoy's going to miss the first little bit with injury. I think Grzelcyk and
Mike Riley.
Mike Riley, thank you very much. First of all, that's like half your defense.
Yeah.
And your most significant winger who isn't David Pastrnak.
So here's what I find hard about that though, and I apologize, Jesse. If they're going to retool, Foligno just got a 4-year deal, didn't he?
Yeah, but that was last year's decision.
And Hampus Lindholm, trade deadline, 8-year extension.
Foligno's deal was 4 years.
I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, Nick Foligno is a UFA after next season.
Are you thinking Marcus?
Maybe that's what I thought.
Okay.
But Hampus Lindholm, 8-year contract
That's a
extension.
great player who's 28. You know, the back end of those contracts are never ideal, but you're paying for 28 through 33.
Right, so that doesn't say rebuild to me.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't see rebuild. I think that's why this firing is. Hey, we're still trying to compete. We need to get better, and we need to get better quickly. And this guy that we have right now isn't getting these players to play at 100% of their potential. We need somebody else who can do that.
Man, I'm looking at the cap friendly page that you have up. Not a ton of UFAs this year. A shitload next year.
Yeah,
I think it's one more year. We got to go for it. We haven't got a choice here.
Yeah. And if Bergeron, you'll see if Bergeron's back. Maybe you get him for one more time. Sign him to a 1-year deal and do it one more time.
Last ride. Yeah, because next year I think it's Hamster Huey and the Gooey Kablooey.
Yeah,
that's
what? I've never heard of that before.
I think it's a fictional book from the Calvin and Hobbes universe.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at their highest paid players here. So Pastrnak obviously is the highest paid on the forwards. But I want to run you just through the ages. Marchand, 34. Hall, 30. Coyle, 30. DeBrus, 25. Foligno, 34. Smith, 32. Holla, 31. Nosek, 29. Wagner, 31. A lot of threes. Their defense looks a little better. McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo, and Grzelcyk are at least 28, but the other two are 24 and 25, so that's all right. But I mean, yeah, they've got some decisions to make it forward.
Young and net.
Yeah. And Linus Olmark's...
That's good. Your goaltending is too good to be bad. Yeah, they're going to be a fascinating one to watch this offseason because people are talking rebuild. Nah, it's not a rebuild.
So if Cassidy's not the guy, who's the guy?
Man, I have no idea because...
it doesn't seem like a Trotz team, does it?
Well, Trotz is really good at squeezing blood from a stone and getting the most out of teams that, like, let's be honest. When that team takes the ice, unless they make some significant moves this offseason and add some big guys in free agency, the roster on paper is going to be underwhelming. Like, we're going to look at them and we're not going to expect very much of them. And Barry Trotz took a team that on paper should have finished last and dragged them to the playoffs.
And had a great end to the year.
Yeah.
They didn't start well, but they had a great end.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm talking when he joined the
Oh,
Islanders.
yeah.
Dude, they should have been under the basement. They were garbage.
Yep.
And look at what happened to them. To me, Trotz to Winnipeg is a foregone conclusion. I think it's happening. But like I need to know what the Bruins are thinking to figure out who the replacement for Cassidy is going to be, because to me it didn't make sense to fire him in the first place, and I'm having trouble wrapping my head around making the Bruins better without him.
What did you say about the Bruins second line center? You don't like it?
I don't like it.
What's a team that works their way to the Stanley Cup final with a very underwhelming name at first line center?
The Montreal Canadiens. Well, no, Deneau's pretty good.
Vegas Golden Knights, ladies and gentlemen. Pete DeBoer.
Oh.
New head coach of the Boston Bruins. That's what my guess is.
Interesting.
Did Vegas hire a replacement for him?
No, they're still on the list of teams that need coaches.
Bruce Cassidy to Vegas.
A little swappy
Oh,
swaps.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Something. I still think in terms of what team Barry Trotz could do the most with, I still think it's Vegas. But I think he just...
That's Winnipeg.
Yeah, from a life standpoint, he wants to go home.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you?
By the way, Gerard Gallant fans, everybody in PEI is screaming at you, Jesse, right now because it was Gerard Gallant that took them to the finals, I believe. And then
Pete
wasn't there. Yeah,
I just don't want to piss off Prince Edward Island.
yeah.
You know how mad they get.
You know what's really funny? Adam said that, and I pointed at Jesse. I went, "Oh shit, you're right." I pointed at Jesse. My bad. Oh shit, you're right.
He
Western Conference
19,
Finals or whatever.
The 1920-21.
Yes.
It was it 3 years or 2 years he was there?
2.5.
Vegas
took over halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Vegas has like the storied legacy of a team that's been around for 50 years. and this is like what, 5, 6?